we're voting for, and to make sure that they're gonna put forth the agenda that we need to make life better for everybody and not just a few people. Ooh, thank you for that. Thank you. That was regarding. So again, I'm going to reference Project 2025, where basically everyone who is not wealthy, white, male, and straight, your life will never be the same. All right, yes. So, Congresswoman McClellan, I'm going to go over to you. You talked about the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. We know that is a very, very important bill, paired with the Freedom to Vote Act. We know those two bills are crucial for getting democracy back on track, or at least our ability to vote. What can we do here in Virginia to help move that federal piece of legislation?
So I know this is a nonpartisan event.
Voting is nonpartisan.
Right, but I'm gonna be real. The current majority in the United States House of Representatives, well, yes, they are dysfunctional, but they don't want these bills to pass. That's why they're not on the floor. That's why they're not being heard in committee. What I need you to do is change the majority. What I need you to do is vote in 2024 like democracy is at stake, because it is. That is not hyperbole. We have, as the Speaker of the House, third in line to the presidency, a man who was the architect of a legal strategy to steal the election of 2020, who is an election denier, who I could go through pretty much every issue you care about, and he's on the wrong side, but I'm just going to focus on democracy. We have members of Congress who voted against certifying the 2020 election, who are in leadership. We have a former president, the king of the election deniers, who has made clear that if he gets elected, he will be a dictator from day one. He is not kidding. He's not kidding. Because his hero is Vladimir Putin. Democracy is on the ballot in 2024 in the presidential election. But it is also on the ballot in the Senate and the House elections. Because the Republican Party of today is not your parents' Republican Party or your grandparents. It is the cult of Donald Trump. So if you want the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Act, if you want to codify Roe versus Wade, if you want the Equal Rights Amendment published in the Constitution, I go down a whole litany of things. If you want a budget passed on time, or at all, then you need to come out and vote in this election and get everybody you know to come out and vote in this election. Again, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I won't be on the ballot. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. And then, once we have the majority back, I need you to use, a lot of people think, I voted, I'm done. No. Deborah alluded to it. You've got to make sure your voice is heard with your representatives, and you're telling us what it is you want us to do. And then you're showing up, if you can, to committee hearings. And I know a lot of them are said at times when you can't show up. That's intentional. But we read your emails. We get the phone calls. And we know, outside of polls, where people are on things. But we don't always hear from everybody. And so we need to make sure that, and especially, people are pretty good about telling their members of Congress. They don't tell their delegates. They don't tell their board of supervisors. They don't tell their prosecutors. They don't tell the school board. Every level of government, your voice is not just your vote, it's your actual voice at the hearing, or at least emailing or calling your representative to say, I want you to vote for this bill, or I want you to vote against this bill. And when you do that, we will finally pass the 2 strongest voting rights acts in the history of the United States.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, I'm going to swing around to Elijah. So Elijah, looking around this room, what can we do as older voters to help your effort to empower more young people?
Absolutely, and again, thank you for the question, but I think the Congresswoman touched on this. The best thing that you can do for young people today is use your voice to build our tomorrow. Every single ballot you cast has profound impacts on what we'll be dealing with. Earlier, I was asked about my work, and a lot of the work that we do outside of voting is working with legislation. And I'm proud to say that this past session, we've worked to get 13 different bills introduced into the General Assembly. And I'm proud of that work. However, if you all do not vote for people like Delegate Gardner, I can't do that. If people like Senator Deej were elected, we may not have an assault weapons ban going through right now. If people like Delegate Alfonso Lopez were not elected and he did not come out and vote for him, we would not have the bills to advance youth rights like we have them. And so the best thing that you have to do, the best thing that you can do is go vote. Now, I want to give you all the call to action to make sure that you can help register 10 different kids when you leave this room today. And I'm going to also give you all the call to action that come election day, you have all your kids and their friends pile into your minivan and take them to the polls. However, we also need you to be there to be our voice. Because that's what you all are. Until I can go and cast my ballot, until I can take as many absences as I want from school, I need you all to represent us. We need a village to raise our young people. And that village is taking the form of the voting population that we have. So yes, I'm going to be real. Our democracy is at stake. There's dysfunction up and down. I mean, how many times have we come to a government shutdown? Like, our rights have never been so on the line. And speaking of that cult leader that we talking about, he's trying to run again. Like we are at a serious point in American history that we've never seen quite before. And now, also, their racism is no longer covert. They're proud of it. Yeah. They're maximizing these mass incarceral efforts. They're working on ensuring that black and brown people are still targeted, right? Their efforts to hurt and diminish the power of women, that's not being hidden. Their efforts to attack LGBTQ young people is not being hidden. Like, they're banning our books. And so I'm going to take from the words of World War II. So now we're in the context of analyzing the Holocaust. First, they're going to ban the books. First, they're going to burn the books, and then they're going to burn the people. Right now, I am begging to each and every one of you that you take the necessary steps to ensure that my generation doesn't get burned. And that's frankly what we're asking. I can sit up here, we'll raise our fists, we'll shout Black Power to the day we die. And I'm glad to have some phenomenal people to do that with. However, in the most serious note ever, we need you all to get to vote. We need you all to ensure that there is a nation for us to even inherit. And we need you all to ensure that if you want even a sliver of progress made, we need a democracy to do it in. And that's what's on the ballot right now.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Richard, you can bring us back a little more local. The Virginia GA is still in session. Is there anything we today can do to help you move your issue forward?
Well, we've already did that. The first African-American Speaker of the House We've done that. That's why I'm feeling hopeful that Virginia is on the way to change. You know, that has been my goal, to push automatic restoration of rights, Constitution, and every piece of legislation that adversely affects our communities. You know, and that's what we're looking to fight for. That's what I wish Congresswoman could take this young man with her to Congress on the floor and talk to everyone in there in the assembly up in Washington, D.C. You know, we need to jump on his bandwagon and every other bandwagon that is pushing democracy, that is pushing the change that is needed in the Commonwealth of Virginia. You know, Virginia is so diversified that they're missing the mark of the potential of what this Commonwealth can be by suppressing individuals and denying them the right to vote, by denying individuals the right to be safe, even though they might have made a mistake in incarceration, that they be not dying on a regular basis. They are wards of the state. The state is allowing individuals to die under their watch. You know, every other legislation, environmental justice issues. You know, fossil fuels is killing us, and they are using the black communities or communities of color to propagate all of this, talking about, you know, we need to be able to provide more oil, more fuel, more to the community. No, it's going to offshore, off to other countries. It's not needed here. We need to electrify the Commonwealth of Virginia. You know, I'm looking forward and excited to continue to vote. And I need to put this out there. I ran for office twice for the House of Delegates. I didn't win either time. However, my voice was out there. And that's what excites me to keep me going on. You know, at some point in time, we will get the message that it's going to take the entire Commonwealth of Virginia to vote the residences in order to change the democratic process, in order to make Virginia the leading state in the South. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. And I want to thank the entire panel. I want to thank everyone who took time out of their schedule and journeyed here today. I want to thank the people that are watching on the live stream. Democracy is a participatory event. We must participate if we want to have a democracy. And when we think of democracy, it really must be for all of us. And I love that ridiculous little saying they stick on the tagline in Mississippi. My father was from Mississippi. It says, all means all, y'all. So thank you all very, very much for coming. We've got beverages outside for folks. So take care. Thank you all very much.